Hi guys, and welcome to another episode with me, Emma Hyman, the Posing Pro, and today we are going to be bringing you some new tutorials and a few little tips and tricks for your posing practice. And I have with me my wonderful assistant, Phoebe Goodwin, in the studio. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
I'm very well. So for you guys that don't know, Phoebe is my posing assistant, so that essentially means that she also works for the Posing Pro. She takes lots of posing sessions for all categories, and you've been on board now for about 9-10 weeks.
Yeah, nearly 3 months.
Nearly 3 months, so it's going really well, but we just wanted to just bring you just some more tips and tricks for your posing practice. And in this episode, we're just going to talk about your lat activation. Now, this is something that athletes really struggle with, don't you think?
Yes, definitely.
It's one of the hardest things to learn when you first start your posing practice and your posing journey, especially for the females. It always tends to be a little bit more difficult, just because we really need to understand the mechanics of the lat activation. So what we're just going to show you is the wrong way that we usually see people flare in the lats. So firstly, we'll just start with a rounded shoulder. So if you just face forwards for me, Phoebes, and flare the lats, but round the shoulders and contract them inwards and straighten the arms here. Now, sometimes we may see this with a bent elbow, so bring the arms up here, and rounding forwards. Now, this is obviously very unnatural for Phoebe because we know how to flare the lats. So you've probably seen this before. This is a massive no-no. This is not what we want to see when we're flaring the lats. It's really important that when you begin to understand the basics and fundamentals of your posing practice, that you understand what the criteria is. So you understand what the X-frame is, what the top line is, and what you're trying to showcase in your quarter turns. So this really applies to all categories. So from the front pose, what we really want to see is a nice wide top line. We want to see a nice shoulder cap. We want to see the lats fully flared, so we've got a really impressive taper down through the waist. So we'll just show the right side first of all, Phoebe. So we're going to flare the lat. We're going to open up the shoulder, and for now we're going to keep the arm completely straight. Now, I much prefer to keep the arm straight when you are learning to activate the lats, because it helps you keep the connection through the back of the tricep and the top of the lat. So if you just spin around for me, Phoebes, and you'll just see here, if you just lift the shoulder, that Phoebe is connected through the top of the lat and the back of the tricep here. Now, this enables you to make sure that the lats are fully activated. Spin back round for me, Phoebes. So what we really want to make sure is when we flare the lats that we don't lead with the arm. The movement, we don't want to see this. It's really important that the movement comes through the lat first, the shoulder second, and then the arm is third. So let's just do that from the rear. So from the back. Now, what we also want to make sure of is when we're flaring the lats is that we don't start with a rounded shoulder. So my first tip is always lift the chest up. Now you can see immediately that this opens up the top line for Phoebe straight away. So what we are going to do is we'll work with this lat, Phoebe. So we're going to flare this lat out. The lat moves first. The shoulder comes second and the arm comes last, So we can really see here that we've got a wide shoulder blade. The shoulder is at the highest, widest point, and the arm is just an extension of that. So what we never want to do here is round the shoulder inwards and try and pull the lat out this way. So you've got to externally rotate the shoulders so we can really get this nice shape here. Let's just do this from the front. So our first checkpoint, what we are going to do is we're going to take a breath and lift the chest first of all. Now, if you find that you really struggle to start with that nice straight line, or that when you flare the lats that you're rounding inwards, always take a breath. It takes the tension out of the body, it opens up the chest, it actually allows you to open up the diaphragm, which then from the rear, it will open up the subscapular, which means that the lats can go from being here to then opening outwards in the shoulder blade. So we're just going to keep the arm really soft. We're going to think about the lat and the shoulder blade being the prime mover and the shoulder opening up second, then the arm is just an extension of the body. So let's just go to the back again, Phoebe. And we're going to work on this right side. So head up, chest up first of all. So if you just completely relax for me, Phoebes. Now, you can see, just round over slightly. If Phoebe was stood naturally, this would be her natural posture. Now, if we flare the lats from this position, just flare, you can see straight away that the shoulders are rounded. It's difficult for her because she's so good at it. So just try and keep the shoulders rounded and just semi-flare the lats. Here we go. Now we can really see here that the top line is dropped. It still looks nice because obviously Phoebe can flare the lats, but even from here, if Phoebe was to lift the chest up, lift the chin up, it immediately opens up the subscapular here, and it means that Phoebe can externally rotate the shoulders. So this is what we're really looking for. So relax for me, spin round. So it's really important that we think about the mechanics of the lats, how the shoulder blades glide and open, where the shoulders are sitting before we flare the lats. Is there any kind of tips that you would give, or problems that you found in the studio with people flaring the lats?
I think we've kind of gone over everything. Like most people tend to
lead with the arm.
Their arm, and they lose the connection between the lat and the tricep. So always go with it straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you kind of start to learn as well, because we watch a lot of other people on YouTube or social media, we kind of see them, we don't see them in the very early stages of their pose and practice, and you kind of see the end result, which can be arms a little bit higher. Now, if you have not nailed that lat activation and you just go straight into taking the arm out, you lose the lat connection. So it can either be too low and there's no connection, or generally we find that they're too high. And if you can see a gap between the top of the lat and the back of the tricep, it means that your lats are not connected. Yeah, so this is really, really important. So initially, we're always going to start, and we will always teach with a straight arm first of all. And then once you have really, really nailed this connection, it's ingrained in the body, then we can start to flex at the elbow, but we still keep the connection between the lat and the tricep. Super, awesome, nice. So that's our tips to start with your lat activation. There's lots of different things that you can try as well, because everyone kind of has different ways of trying to flare the lats, and it's different issues as well. So I hope you liked the video. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode.